I have shared in several videos about how AI is causing me trouble. It came to the point that I should just focus on that to make this video. I went through some problems with Gemini. This is not just Gemini, but this is just like a highlight of how things can go wrong. In fact, I'm a shareholder of Google. Chunk of money is in there. So I'm hesitant to share such a story as this one. But for the sake of our progress, Google's progress, and everyone, my pain may be brought into some gain for the future. No pain, no gain. And I'm 77 almost, and I hate to get into this, but accumulating some evidences, and with some of my engineering background and computer science background, I can see what could be happening and what could be improved. So hopefully this video may catch some attention by the people who are in this business in Google or ChatGPT and more. Actually, the users are the ones who should be careful for getting the benefit of AI with people connected to that, with a skill to be able to picture what could be happening on the AI side so that you can expect what can go wrong. And the speed of change is getting rapid, so any mistake can cause big chunk of impact, not just financially, but everything else, even threatening human species existence, in my view. So actually, I drafted the letter to Jeff Hinton. This is done with the GPT, thinking what I see as the problem. This is like maybe 6 months or more ago, which I didn't so far because he's such a famous guy and I'm just a peon. But I see the problems can be exposed more readily at where the action is. And I have practiced my business consulting and turning around the company and even private equity business. I have some knowledge of the organizational behavior and potential pitfall. So checking from the shop floor is very important to know what is happening up in the managerial process. This is the Toyota idea, mainly, I learned from and wrote books about it, that from the shop floor, you can see how the problems are exposed, so that if top management understand that and incorporate the problems observed at the shop floor for their strategy to improve, it will be solid growth, not just for the top, the company, but also people appreciating their talent. So at the end, people are going to be impacted by AI. So they need to know what can go wrong and the nature of the problem that can happen. So what I will be sharing, I'm already doing it, but in this video, is to highlight some of those. As an example, I developed a document just copying all the dialogue I had with Gemini at certain subject this morning, and I highlighted with red letters the sentence that Gemini is apologizing the error. And I counted, there are about a dozen of them in about maybe hour and a half conversation. You don't have to read all of it, but just capture the red letter sentence popping up here and there and you get the sense of the nature of the problem. It's just a simple but can be convoluted issue when you deal with the iPhone and MacBook Air and transfer the YouTube video. In concept, it's very simple. There's an easy way to get into not this kind of a problem if I can guide them how to set up the process. But because of the nature of what we've got with the system, the companies, and the barriers or the interface issue between the company, the product, the system, interface, so that the cloud in Apple, for example, to Google's cloud, and the machine like iPhone and MacBook Air, what they have, an application, and all of those are evolving and changing. So it's not going to be easy, but the principal way of management, I see it is the same. So I want to talk about how to solve it, but just for the sake of time, I just summarize it that the problem is at the interface between application and the product or system, and the long-term memory is not well kept in GPT or Gemini, so that indicate a huge potential, because if you have to go AI into AI agent, even to face one person to one AI agent so that you can relate to each other, that's a profoundly interesting process. But the long-term memory of what this person is doing and also having a dialogue with AI has to be kept in some way or the other. So one thing I can say for the sake of my background, the idea of mini company and the mini-me pointing the node of those essential information center like neurons. And each of the essential information has to be connected to each other like a brain network, and that's what the brain functions. So idea of the mini company, glasswall management, is to process it so that synthesizing the idea can be done much easily. This is connected to Kegon, a philosophy from Buddhism about the interpenetration. So that's very technical, perhaps, to get into it now, but that is a way to solve this long-term memory problem. And I've been working with this one is mainly with the ChatGPT to come up with some system. And there are some evidences that it's feasible, and that's something I want to share, given perhaps in the other video when the time is right. But this example is also related to that. And so I want to point out, by just looking at my question and answer between myself and Gemini, how things went, and just get the sense of problems that exist. And this problem's been going on for a long time, hoping that things get improved. But so far, there's no sign of it. And I just checked on the Reddit. I guess I put the word like Gemini's problem, and then there are discussions going on. I thought that could be more, but I'm happy that people are realizing and complaining. But the response and the improvement takes time, it looks like, but this realization has to be shared so that as AI progresses, people, the users also progress and picture what kind of a possibility for the benefit as well as the negativity that may come with can be better understood. In few sentences to summarize this, the approach of top-down is okay, but if you don't have a connection to the shop floor where the action is, that approach is missing the linkage, just like a brain and a heart. And that what I see as the potential from the heart and the body is the wisdom and compassion that can be integrated. So the approach from the top is not just the computer science and the logic, but the connection to the reality of things happening at the shop floor with the pain. And to realize that, and how to realize that, and bring out the wisdom, that's the important step. And I think this idea of the mini company and the glass wall management correspond to such an idea, and also relating to the heart. So there's a spiritual element of it, which may be quite foreign to many people. But that's the compassion. Pain has to find a way for the gain. And the gain is not just for someone who get richer and do something good with a bright idea, but the idea has to be incorporating all the impact that happens from the shop floor. And the pain of the shop floor, me as an example, may need to be realized for the progress to be made. So this is just one small example, but in my view, it extends to not just little, but whole nature of how things are happening with AI. And especially with the speed going on and the gap becoming maybe bigger instead of collaborative process to be developed, I think you may need to, or especially those who are into producing side of it, have good eyes and ears to know what's going on at the shop floor and feel the pain and picture how to address it. As I mentioned, that I can provide some ideas that I have shared already in my books that you can take a look at it. The idea of the mini company glass wall management. Simple idea, kind of replicating the brain structure in the organization. And this is the same organization that the AI can replicate, so that there's a commonality, the way of approaching this problem, hopefully. Thank you.